We've been smiling, we tells you already that I'm not alone here today because we're so excited to have the opportunity to spend some moments with you this first day of a new week. We began a conversation yesterday talking about the transport sector, and we had the privilege to speak with the Honorable Minister for Transport, Chibuike Rotimi Amechi. We also spoke with the manager of the Abuja, the manager in charge of the Abuja Kaduna terminal, who is also the liaison officer of the Nigerian Railway Corporation. So we got very enlightened, and it was quite interesting because we got your feedback on many of the issues that were discussed. There's another area of transport that also concerns us. In March, flights were cancelled locally and internationally. What is the status now? Where do we go from here? And that will also form another part of our conversation on We Can Deal Today. Welcome. My name is Thelma Obasi.
Yes, a very good morning to you. Thelma has said it all. Yesterday, it was all about the railway land system. Today, we're going to, in addition, we're going to talk about air travels. How do we keep safe? How do we make sure that at the end of the day, you arrive at point B, healed and healthy? That is what we're taking a look at today. And the best way to start is with a backgrounder. It will open the door, open the way for us to know more, learn more, and interact perfectly. Let's see it together.
For the first time in world history, about 90% of the world's citizens have been restricted from traveling, either to return home or to destinations of choice. Without a doubt, the most affected in travel and tourism is the transportation sector.
I don't think it will be as it was before with COVID-19. I saw something recently in the Middle East. They've been able to redesign the airports to accommodate physical and social distancing. And for some of the airports that have opened, you're expected to arrive at the airport 3 hours before time, before your departure period. Now, before now, you had like 45 to 1 hour or to 2 hours, depending on the flight. But now you're expected 3 hours before time. So it means that the whole experience will be cumbersome.
The railway industry is not isolated. It's not insulated from other sectors of the economy. The COVID-19 took the world by surprise, and it grounded the whole world economy. So it affected the rail system too. Because once the economy is shut down, if you're operating a rail system, who are you operating for? Because people were not moving. So it affected us adversely.
As the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority prepares to gradually ease the lockdown on its operation, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has approved COVID-19 protocols for the sector. However, how is the railway sector preparing for the eventual reopening of its operations?
As a sector, apart from the general government protocols, which includes face mask, of course, our environment has been designated no face mask, no entry environment. That is basic. Hand washing and hand sanitizing, I've told you we have made provision for those things. Then social distancing is what we are going to work on now. So we want to start drawing lines at every point in the location within the railway environment. From the place you go and wash your hand, because of our high traffic, we have to draw a line where one person will stop, another person will queue. To ticketing, the same thing. To boarding, the same thing. So these are part of the measures. And again, we have arranged to decontaminate our coaches.
The new normal will be challenging but must be adhered to if the industry must survive the outbreak. The most immediate and perhaps most visible change the industry will witness is social distancing.
You're talking about social distancing. You have the carts that we use, the trolleys we use at the airport. how have they been, decontaminated and disinfected, to be sure that when people go grab those things to push their luggage, that after that there will be continuous, decontamination. Because I mean, that's the thing you're going to do. Are we going to be having that? Do we have the walkthroughs that will decontaminate people as they go through it? Do we have that put in place? So it's not just necessarily putting social distancing. There are a whole lot of concentric requirements to ensure that passengers, travelers are really safe.
To ensure we maintain social distancing and physical distancing, we're reducing our carrying capacity. If you know our trains very well, you have the standard coach, or coaches rather, which carry eight passengers. Now, each row has 5 seaters, 2 to the left, 3 to the right. Now, instead of maintaining 5 passengers per row, the side that has 2 seats, we're reducing it now to 1 person, and the side that has 3 seats, we're reducing it to 2, which means there must be 1 seat in between 2 passengers.
With the new normal, passengers in the aviation sector, for instance, will have to be fit to travel, as the yellow cards will be substituted for COVID-19 cards. Consequently, passengers must arrive the airport early and expect more delay, because aircraft will be sanitized every time the plane lands.
First thing first, my personal hygiene is important. 2, I am traveling. If my flight's supposed to be for 2 p.m., I'm supposed to be at the airport at 9 a.m. Because I don't know how many persons are going to be traveling on the trip. So I need to be there early enough and ensure that I have the right position so that I don't go through that same process of after having my own personal hygiene. Some other person doesn't have his own personal hygiene, then I end up getting it. So passengers need to begin to learn and how to adjust to make the new normal.
The fight against coronavirus is not yet over, so all hands must be on deck towards flattening the curve.
Do online booking, do online confirmations, do your check-in online. So when you get to the time of departure, it's easy for you to just walk away without necessarily going through those process. There'll be more things that will be done online.
My advice to Nigerians is to play safe, stay safe, think safe, and act safe.
Therefore, our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on the transportation sector. How prepared are they for the easing of the lockdown?
That was quite in-depth, very, very in-depth. We know a lot now about air travel, aviation sector. We also give you some more brief on the railway and the train services. Yes, online services are available, but there's much talk now about people already buying tickets for flights. They are not sure when they will resume or what time they will be scheduled. And many airlines are saying you're on your own, our own is to sell.
Totally.
Okay, we go to NT Abuja now, where they put together this package to give us more enlightenment about the new normal with regards to physical distancing in the aviation sector.
COVID-19 has brought a global change that might just be around for a while. The new normal of social distancing has impacted our various forms of transportation. For the first time in history, about 90% of the world's citizens have been restricted from traveling. Whilst many industries have been hard hit, it is undeniable that global aviation is majorly affected and has entered a deep freeze. Coming back home to Nigeria, most of the airlines have either forced their workers to embark on unpaid leave, slashed their salaries, or dismissed their workforce, bringing our aviation industry to a standstill. Experts from the National Association of Nigeria Travel Agents have come to an agreement that this new normal will be challenging, but must be adhered to if the industry must survive.
The important thing to understand about getting ready, number one, the airplanes. You must know that when airplanes sit on the ground, their airworthiness becomes challenged. It's not like your car that you can pack, come after about 2 or 3 months, for as long as your battery is working, you crank your car and be on your way. No, not for the airplane. As the airplanes sit on the ground, they begin to lose what is known as their in-use mode. And in that case, you must do some maintenance work to ensure that they are airworthy and be able to fly them once again.
Difficult times call for serious introspection and recalibration. Airlines should collaborate with airports to map out complete passenger travels from the time they enter an airport to the time they exit another. The availability of basic sanitization stations, along with face masks and gloves, should be a mandate, and penalties imposed on misconduct and non-compliance.
Contact tracing will be much easier to do if we have a pre-flight documentation of those who will fly. And that's why the authorities are now, asking those who want to fly to be at the airport at least 3 hours before their flight time. This time around, you will have to go through the process of sanitization. You have to go, through the process of documentation, and of course, I know that the airport is being marked in such a way that when people are queuing, yes, the physical distancing is being thoroughly marked. So there's no chance of people, massing together, when you get in there, the square that is meant for one individual is where that individual will stand. All the luggages will be sanitized, yes, before they get into the airplane. Each time an airplane touches down and people disembark, cleaners that have been trained will move in and thoroughly sanitize the airplane.
Airport Council International (ACI), in collaboration with International Air Transport Association (IATA), have published comprehensive guidelines for the aviation industry as airports prepare to restart operations in order to assist them in sustaining a business recovery with a slow increase in passenger volume.
Ticket sales at the airport will still go on as usual, but then the social or physical distancing will still be maintained, because some enforcement officers will be hanging around and watching and ensuring that people are doing the right thing.
The way forward emphasizes that Nigeria will fly again. The COVID-19 pandemic has birthed a new normal in the Nigerian aviation industry, whose success will depend on management and compliance, keeping in mind customers' sentiments and the industry's integrity.
Wow, a very beautiful report, an educative report there by NT Abuja. And it's like we woke up one morning and the world changed. And of course, we have all accepted that there is a new normal. One time or the other, like Tama already just told me, we might have a need to fly, and we must take into cognizance very seriously safety measures. We must not play with it. It is very, very important. Like I said, there is a new normal. The point here now is the level of, and there's a level of, oh, okay. All right, there's a new normal, and now it's the level of compliance. And here in the FCT, what is the real situation? Physical distancing. Well, to learn, Fatih Umar has put together this report on the Abuja situation. Let's see it together.
Road transportation is one of the basic human needs, without which there could be chaos and most likely difficulty of movement. People are ready to go the extra mile to get to their destination. With the easing of the lockdown, to what extent do road users go to keep safe on the road? As interactions with other road users is sure to happen. From boarding of vehicles, asking for directions, bumping into other road users. Are road users observing physical distance when boarding public transport?
I have my nose mask as is being stipulated on the measures we need to take as individual, and I have my hand sanitizer. I do sanitize my hand every 30 minutes, and for the vehicle, they said they should be conveying three people at the back. Some of the vehicle are still conveying 4 people. And in a case where they are conveying 3 people, you have to pay more.
For instance, if I'm approaching public, what I do is to put on my mask. When I'm interacting with audience or public, I put on my mask to make sure I protect myself from coronavirus.
The drivers are not complying to what the government has stipulated. So, and we, the passengers, we don't have choice than to use what is available. When the desirable is not available, the available becomes the desirable. So we don't have choice than to, they'll still take 4 and then collect ×2 of what they have been taking from us.
Unlike before, they used to carry 4 at the back and 2 at the front. Some of them now even carry 2 at the back and 1 at the front. So while I want to enter, I have to wait and look for those ones that are actually taking those precautionary measures, those who understand the situation on ground and those who want to help themselves. The other day also, while I entered a vehicle, I noticed one of the passengers was not using his. I asked the driver to stop, let me alight.
Are the road officials and enforcement team ensuring compliance? And are there sanctions or fines when road users do not follow the guidelines?
Those who are overloading their vehicle in order to bring them to compliance level, yeah, we are getting them. The FRSC and the DRTS carried a very strong combined operation on that, even from within the Eagle Square here, which is our operational base. If you go behind here, the DRTS, that's the VIO office, that issue as well. Breaking the law is what people try to do. Our own as enforcement agent is to actually arrest them and ensure they comply and take them before the magistrate court and before relevant authorities within the legal framework that will bring them before justice here. People still break the law. They break the law every time. And as they break the law, we are getting them in large number and we are not relenting, because when the President and Commander-in-Chief gave the order that we must maintain social distancing, and the FCT administration within its own part said we can only carry in a saloon car, 2 at the back, 1 at the front, and we are seeing people carrying beyond that, we are enforcing that here. When you go to the mobile court around town, you discover that many of them are being charged for this, and they pay fine, and sometimes as well they do other services. The fine depends on the magistrate, number 1. Then I think within the magistrate, it also depends on the fact that in the early stage we got very lighter fine, because that time most of the people who got them were first-time offenders, first offenders. So some of them got 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira, some got 1,500. I know some even got about 500 naira. Those who really had to explain their case well and plead guilty when they know that they are guilty.
To stop a vehicle, what we first look for is a face mask, to ensure they are all putting on their face masks. If you don't have the nose marks, definitely will arrest that vehicle. And in fact, we are even empowered to by law to enforce, to arrest passengers that are not wearing the nose marks too.
Commuting will no longer be the usual normal. A road user's attitude to safety can guarantee the well-being of other road users. Change should and can start from you to others. It is up to us all to observe the safety guidelines according to the Presidential Task Force and stay safe as you move.
The change can and should begin with you, because the normal thing, patience, is that if I see you doing the right thing and I spend time around you, it's normal that I'll begin to invite
for me
those
and
things that you are doing, and it continues like that.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting to know that the transporters can refuse to pick up somebody who is not obeying the rules and regulations that are guiding our movement at this time. That's I mean, that's quite that's good.
It's very nice. Good. And it's amazing how some people still believe there's no COVID-19. Like I told somebody, we're talking about it recently, somebody who is enlightened, he actually told me there's no COVID-19. And I told him, I said, okay, why do you just do what they have said? Like you were saying, just follow the rules. What if there is? Like somebody told me one to say, some people say there is no heaven, and nobody has gone and come back to tell us whether there is heaven or not. What if there is? And that time you're already, so just do the right thing.
To stand safe.
Stand safe.
Wow, that's quite interesting. We continue to unveil information for you, and that's how we go to Benin to talk about the enforcement and compliance level of physical distancing in that part of Nigeria. Let's go see.
Public transport is not yet out in the government changes. The state government has made it clear and said, take 2 by the center, 2 at the back and 1 at the front for purpose of social distance. Put on your mask. But however, it is easy for us to do more of sensitization, and as a result, councils are involved, communities are involved, civil societies are involved, teachers and many other voluntary organizations are involved in informing the people.
Entry and coming down of a vehicle, don't be in a hurry. Just come down one after the other. What we are doing is to make sure there is no interaction between the passengers or within the pedestrians. And where you are on the bus stop, you must maintain safe distance. That is, passengers must ensure they are not very close to each other.
I know what wear mask. Oh, I misplaced my mask. Funny enough, that's what happened. I misplaced it. I was in a hurry. When I got where I was going, they didn't allow me in. When I realized my mask was also big on my shirt, I just checked like, oh, it fell off. Then I realized I misplaced it.
This is an instruction by law. We are good citizens of Nigeria, and we ought to obey it.
As worse as it is, some people are still believing there is no COVID-19, which is very, very unfortunate. And I'm happy majority is aware that there is COVID-19. We have mobile courts in specific areas who are trying the offenders. But however, you stop a vehicle that is overloaded, so you come down, you come down, you come down. Those measures sometimes are better than taking the people to the mobile court.
What we do now is that we discover that sometimes there are people who are willing, we on our own, either if it's a vehicle that committed a traffic offense and now we now discover violated COVID-19 offense, we write a fine for it, because we have in our fine, we have a section that can cover it. Then for passengers, either we delay them or we send them for community work.
Before the COVID-19, normally at the end of every activities, we usually take 3,250 home after our expenses. But currently now, for you to even work the sum of 1,500 now, it becomes a big problem.
They are not taking the number passengers they used to take. So it's good on our own. We pay the stipulated amount by then.
The times are indeed not usual. The last respondent said they are making less money, but you see, like we said yesterday, you have to be alive, you have to be well to enjoy whatever money you have. You don't want to have all that money and you're not able to enjoy it because you're sick or you're not even alive. So let's have safety first, and then we can talk about other things. We are still talking about keeping safe, compliance, social distancing. What is the situation amongst operators of keke and motorists and motorcycle motorcycle in the FCT? Ene Edi has put together. Ene Onobu has put together this picture. Let's see it.
Due to the lockdown by the federal government, as measures to control the COVID-19 pandemic, one of the sectors affected is the tricycle transport, popularly called keke napep. However, with increased attention and measures being taken by the government to curtail the spread and mortality of the pandemic, the tricycle operators have been allowed to continue in line with the Presidential Task Force directives on COVID-19.
Federal Ministry of Health and Nigerian Center for Disease Control actually issue guideline to the commuters as well as the operators. But the point is that for a car, only 2 people should sit at the back, and then 1 person in front with the driver. And they must all use their face masks as I rightly use now. Then for coaster, at least we have 3 seats. So the same thing, 1 person should sit at the extreme right, another person should sit at the extreme left, and then leave the middle empty. So this is what we have told them. And then for Okada, they are not expected to operate with this type of COVID pandemic that is actually going on now, that is ravaging. But you still see them doing that. But then for Keke Mapep, they used to take 3 people too. So they're supposed to only take 2, 1 on the extreme right and the 1 on the extreme left, then the driver. And all of them must wear face mask.
Adjusting to this completely new lifestyle has not been very easy for the tricycle operators. Some of them prior to COVID-19 made significant profits from their business, but now what they make is only for their daily sustenance.
Before like 3,000, but now, so we thank God now 1,000, 15, one day 2,000.
Before we are getting more passengers, but now there is no passengers due to the issues of this coronavirus. Some of the offices are never even open, and even the school self.
Do carry like 3 people at the back, but now I observed they only carry 2. So that social distance is really working. They do observe it. That is what I can just say.
Despite the compliance on the directives from the Presidential Task Force on tricycles in the federal capital, what measures are being taken to sensitize others on the need for social distance in the rural areas?
We had meetings with the local government, health sector. Those are the people that are involved in health development at the community level. So these people are going to be used to really get to the people at the grassroots level, to the people at the markets, to the people on the street, to somebody that is just selling ordinary fruits by the roadside. Because you cannot go all the way from Abuja to those places. So you need to get some change agents. So these are the change agents we are using to make sure that we get to the grassroots level, so that these people will know why they are expected to use their face mask, why they need to have at least 2 meter distancing, and then why they need to wash their hands regularly. So these are the things, these are the non-pharmaceutical intervention which we really want to socialize at the grassroots level.
Remember, obedience, they say, is better than sacrifice. We must, as a nation, come together to fight the spread of COVID-19.
Prevention, we often say, is better than cure. And I saw very vivid, that is the visuals, properly describe the situation. In fact, we understood perfectly where our features reporter Ene was going, because the visuals told most of the story.
Away from keeping safe, compliance, sanitizing, coronavirus, and all of masking and everything. And from the way I am going, it's one segment of the show that I love. It's my favorite time of the show. Tell me, what is it?
We love it. We love it.
What is
Trending
it? Videos.
Can you imagine? Well, what did they say in the police station? Let me hear. As I got there like this, if you see the way the boy was looking, you would know that yes, this boy is a criminal. He was telling me that I'm sorry, I did not do rape her intentionally. Because he was wearing miniskirt. Can you imagine? I told my friend, DPO, detain this boy. He's an animal. He's not supposed to be seen among everybody in the society. The family said, Chebi is ordinary. As he said that, I gave him a dirty slap. Very good, stupid boys. No, I don't even take rape issues lightly. What do you mean? You rape somebody and you are trying to defend yourself. But Kunle, Chebi, you used to follow small girls up and down. No, okay? I only do 30+ women with consent. So you used to follow 30 people. My friend, come off it. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about more sensitive issue. We're talking about the issue of rape. And you, Tao, I just bought you this pepper spray. It's now self-defense. I will come and style you now, put you in taekwondo classes. You go with that taekwondo there. I cannot take chances. Pepper them.
What Tao?
Solo. Where do Daddy?
Tao, my love. My wife.
It's like something wrong with your head this morning.
Mama, Tao, forget that thing. Now we didn't wear pants for her when she's small.
Excuse me, boy. Never in your life. I don't play with that one. But the bush. We are still settling one, and the matter we settle for there. You still bring another matter.
She don't rhyme.
Stupid!
You know what I found very exciting? You know, that the veterans group.
Yeah, I mean.
It's like, that's the combination of all your efforts. Kids are in
You've
school,
seen it all, girl.
Their lives. You're hardly working full time. You now see,
can
you
now
see
dance.
The reckless abandon in
mean,
the dance.
Let it go.
Let it go.
I mean, what
in
is
fact,
it?
they let it all out.
And they'll live longer.
Nice one. Well
They'll
done,
live longer.
Wale and Akoni, for always bringing it on.
Yeah.
And spicing up our weekend. We move to Jos now, and there's much talk also about how they are maintaining physical distancing in public transportation. Have you ever been to Jos? What would you say Jos is renowned for? Anybody coming to Nigeria, if I anywhere, Jos. When you say Jos,
the scenery. Are you talking about the weather?
Weather,
the beautiful
cool,
weather,
clement weather. That's Jos. Yes,
but that will not encourage physical distancing.
The weather will not encourage it. Let's go to Jos.
The coronavirus pandemic has brought about some changes in our way of life. The public transport system inclusive. The system globally has been one of the hardest hit, as many of the major transport authorities around the world reported up to 95% reduction in users.
In this COVID-19, if somebody is even talking of profit in this era, he's just deceiving himself. What I am thinking is this 2020 that comes is just you have to manage to survive, to feed the family and take care of the vehicle itself.
As a way of curtailing the coronavirus pandemic, government at various levels came up with a directive with regards to boarding public transport. In Plateau State, this measure is in place.
There are laws. The executive order by the state governor in his broadcast is a law. It's what we are leaning upon. It's what the mobile courts are leaning upon. And the minimum fine is 10,000 naira. Or you go and do community work, or in fact you go to prison. It's either you pay that amount that is stipulated, or minimum of 10,000, or you go to prison, or both.
The weekend deal crew went round just the Plateau State capital to observe the level of compliance to this directive.
The compliance for commercial vehicles is not there. We have not seen appreciable level of compliance as a government, and we are talking to the officials to discuss, to educate them about the need for them to comply. The compliance level is really not there when it comes to these commercial vehicles.
The directive regulating the number of passengers in a public vehicle is aimed at ensuring we all keep safe. One then wonders why the low level of compliance to this directive.
COVID-19 affected me because of how I'm getting before. I'm not used to get it now. Before it's better. Now that they are forcing us to carry 5 people, it's not enough for us. So how will you get money for fuel or to balance your vehicle? So
there is no gain at much, but the little we got, we thank God.
In the car, in terms of the businesses, I don't think people are observing the social distancing, because look at us inside the car now. So to me, it's like they are not following it. We are not following it.
Okay, they are not maintaining the social distance because they don't follow according to the rule, the way the government give to us. So we are still managing it. So we don't know how we can contact it through colleagues inside the car.
Staying safe is a collective resolve. Let's comply to government directives in this regard. Our safety, to a large extent, lies with us.
Staying safe, indeed, is a collective reserve, and we must pursue it like peace. We must pursue safety like peace. Weather or no weather, I mean, that was a joke. No weather should stop you from keeping safe. We must keep safe to stay alive. Let's go to Abuja and see exactly what the situation there is.
No, now 3 person I won't carry. This man go down. This man go down. Now I tell us make him go down. No, you tell me.
Observance of physical distancing among the people in public places and in transportation is one of the safety protocols and guidelines released by government to curtail the spread of COVID-19 in the country. In spite of these and all other measures taken, the number of recorded cases keep increasing by the day. This might be due to the non-compliance of people to safety protocols and guidelines, as well as the level of enforcement by government.
Mobile court will allow us to do quick justice to whoever heard, particularly in the area of carrying more than 1 passenger. The thing is, the punishment will range from impounding the vehicle or motorcycle that is used for such non-compliance. Again, there's going to be a community service.
A close observation around Abuja, Ogun State capital, revealed that majority of the operators in the transportation sector do not adhere strictly to the observance of social and physical distancing known as the new norm.
They are not doing anything. When I got here, they said 3 people are going to be sitting here.
3 on each seat. And I'm like, why? Why? Like, is it not everybody that's supposed to be protecting each other? This park is not protecting us. They are not at all. They feel like it is a myth. Let me call it a myth. Like,
due to what is happening now, government asks us to carry 2 passengers. We obey them, but that carrying 2 passengers, it's not pay for us because the amount we are collecting when we are carrying 4 before is now we are carrying as well. It's now we are collecting when we are carrying 2. No, we are appealing to government in order to help us, to lift us, in order to carry our 4 passengers.
Oga, it's not well with us. I no go lie for you because they go say make we carry 2 people go Rwanda for 150. If we go Rwanda, how much you go make now? I go feed family, my pikin go eat. Okay, I will go take the sustain. How's the car? Okay, the owner of Kake, they go say na 3,000 and I go pay him. Now the thing is just tire me, I don't understand them. So now he make me, I say, say na government be the COVID-19. I been na we be COVID-19. I don't know now. I been na me we were there for Abuja. Now we carry the COVID-19. Cause hear me, I don't understand.
How many passengers do you used to carry?
Now only one go carry.
Only one you carry?
Yeah.
What are those conditions that you tell the passenger before you?
Me I no like 2 passengers for inside machine because if make it pass, if make it cash, if make it carry 2 passengers, anything go happen, no problem. But if make it carry only one, something good.
Meanwhile, for effective observance of this protocol, governments have to invest in the transport sector to bring down cost of transportation and protect commuters from paying more to make up for empty spaces.
It is not comfortable and convenient for the riders to carry 2 passengers from the takeoff place to a destination. But we believe if we are able to carry 4 or 5 passengers as we usually do it before, it is one of the major ways of transferring this deadly virus disease we are talking about. So we need to abide by that.
The only difference is between that we are carrying passengers at rate of 15 naira before, but now we had 20 naira because of the maintenance of what we are using.
From all indications, the end to this pandemic might not be in sight if people fail to observe physical distancing and other safety protocols while in transit. Remember, the virus has no leg, so stay safe.
Stay safe. Staying safe is so critical. You know, when that lady was talking just now, we were so moved as in she was speaking from her heart and speaking what should be on everybody's mind at this time. She said, why? Why won't you obey when it's to protect and prolong your life? Any more messages?
One more. It said, good morning. I have a question. If COVID-19 has no cure, how come people are recovering from the infectious disease? Unfortunately, we don't have a doctor in the house. But like we always say, please be safe. It's better to be safe than be sorry. The issue of life and death is in the hands of God. But your own is to be safe.
Take the precautions.
That's all.
Let's go and see how they are taking the requisite precautionary measures in Maiduguri.
COVID-19, which is a global health challenge, has infected millions of people, while hundreds of thousands have died of the pandemic. It is against this backdrop that the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 ordered the strict adherence to social and physical distancing as a means to curb the spread of the virus among citizenry.
We're working seriously to see that we've intensified the campaign of hygienic improvement and social distances, and that's the most important thing that we're doing now, because as far as we are concerned, since the cure is not yet available, these are the things that we indulge in now, and we're still on it.
The issue of the interstate aspect, we have already taken care of this thing by coming up with a policy that each of the tricycle riders, that those carried more than 3 or 4 passengers before, are now enshrined to carry only 2. Then the taxis, cabs that are really conveying passengers are supposed to carry 1 in front and 2 at the back, making 3 passengers and 4 with the driver. these are some of the issues, and in order to support this policy, we have even summoned a meeting with the owners of most of the tricycles and the car owners, and we asked them to cut their demanding deposit balance per day.
We used to impose and book or impound any vehicles or any driver that compel with that kind of directive. Day and night, that's what we have been doing to ensure that motoring public comply with that social distancing, so that at least they will have 2 meters, that is gap, between passenger A and passenger B.
Until scientists find a certified cure for COVID-19, let us all take responsibility by observing the social and physical distancing in order to avoid the risks of being infected. It is not yet over until it's over. These developments have yielded tremendous results in containing the spread of COVID-19, until recently when the practice seems to be relaxing.
We have organized a committee within our association in mobilizing people, making them believe that COVID-19 is real and they should stick to the NSD's specifications. And for the passengers, we explain to them the reasons why we should reduce the number of passengers per vehicle. For example, in buses that carries 18 passengers, it is being reduced to either 9 or 10. And for those who are taking 7 passengers, it is being reduced to 4, so as to give enough space so as to stop the spread of COVID-19.
We used to call meeting with line with a high task force committee on COVID-19 in Borno State to enlighten our members. You know, some of them, even not Kekenapep, some of them, they are not even believe that pandemic is real. So we keep enlightening them so that by this enlightenment, somebody that can not believe that it is pandemic is real, now he know that it is real, and then we teach them how to prevent himself. So we are putting all these things so far so good. I think this thing where we provide, you can see our airport.
In order to bring the fight against COVID-19 to an end, all hands must be on deck. Stay safe.
Indeed, all hands must be on deck. There is another pandemic that is causing a lot of havoc in our society. This one totally breaks my heart. It's something I've not been able, some of the stories, you hear them and you're not able to wrap your head around it. I simply cannot deal. Thelma, rape in our society.
As a catastrophe, a very terrible habit that must be discouraged at all levels. And what is most painful is that these people who damage and destroy lives, they come out like same people on a daily basis. Some of them have jobs. There was a case of a PhD holder who was harassing a guy for almost 3 years. How do you do that?
You cannot, and the point here is you cannot even say these are the group of people, like you said. I read one of somebody who works in a very high reputable hospital, and this boy was taken to him, and from there the families became friends, and then he started molesting the boy. And you begin to wonder, a health worker, somebody who is well read. Well, recently there was a call to action. There was a work. Okay, recently there was a call to action. There was a work against rape. Let's see it.
No means no! No means no!
Rape does not show consent. It is a blatant violation of the essence and purity of any child, more especially the female child. So when has it become a norm to rape the girl child and get away with it? This and much more were the questions burning in the hearts of these women, and that's which charged the fire of the members of the Michelle's Initiative on her Say No to Rape walk held recently in Abuja.
Why we're here today because of the incessant rape going on in the country, the violence against women. It's too much. We can't bear it anymore. That is why we're here. You can see what I'm holding right here. This is red card to all rapists in Nigeria. It's not my heaven for them. They don't have to stay here anymore. We're telling them to leave Nigeria now because what they're going to see, the rant we're going to give them, they cannot stand it.
It is wrong and we're going to stand for it, we're going to fight for it. No matter what it's going to take, we're going to drive this cause. We're going to support this movement to ensure that legislation is passed so that rapists will know that in Nigeria we condemn it totally.
With every step taken, the anger and anguish on their faces could not be hidden. The walk took the group to the Ministry of Women's Affairs, and with the increase in dire and alarming rates, the minister, Pauline Talon, lent her voice to the message and took it to heart as she fiercely condemned the saddening situation.
On behalf of Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, a true father, I want to assure you that never before have we had a political commitment on issues of rape than we have now. Mr. President is very angry. He is fully committed to see that we drive this point home, and he's working towards us having a zero tolerance of rape and gender-based violence.
The underlying factor here is that as a nation, irrespective of tribe, religion, or language, we must come together to fight this menace, protect the female gender, bring justice to the souls lost, the lives destroyed, and dreams caught at its prime, as we give rapists the red card.
I know it's I know.
We had a chat with Michelle Uniki Peter, that's last week on Weekend Deal, and what was very encouraging was she's building a resilient team of male and female people who are focused on providing some level of counseling for rape victims. Patience, you have a message or two?
Yes, I do have. Okay, so good morning. I really appreciate NTA for enlightening Nigerians on COVID-19, and most of people from Boko Benue State are not taking the advice of the task force on COVID-19. Thanks, Ahile Dominic from Boko. Ahile Msu. Well, Boko people, you must comply. It is serious. We must keep healthy. And we must be safe.
Thank you, Patience. We're talking about virtual beauty, from something not very pleasant to something pleasant. Now, virtual beauty, what is that? Is that online beauty? Is it that you can use the internet to make yourself more attractive? But let's see this.
Prior to the pandemic, brands of the fashion and beauty industry were already reliant on social media and digital technology to bridge the gaps in customer relations and marketing. Now, as the effects continue to ripple through various sectors of the economy, stakeholders are redesigning their models of operation and considering a new approach to social events by going full digital. With social gatherings cancelled, the industry is exploring creative ways to showcase their latest offerings. Fashion shows are being organized via video conferencing platforms, and brands are debuting their collections on their social media with virtual premieres. But for Mocha Beauty's monthly held beauty contest, the platform is entirely online and has been since its inception late last year. The existence of a beauty contest on a solely digital platform has not been without challenges.
In a bid to make sure they clinch the star prize, we started with 100,000 for the first prize winner. Now, first prize winner takes 200,000. And we have noticed that a number of the contestants will do practically anything to ensure a win, and this includes things that are not ethical.
The Mocha Beauty Contest recently concluded its 4th edition, crowning its winner for the month of May. While observing the federally mandated pandemic precautions, the latest face of Mocha Beauty Contest was crowned in an intimate ceremony. The latest group of hopefuls are already hedging their bets to win the crown for June. Mocha Beauty Contest was conceived prior to the current pandemic, but is perhaps a timely foreshadowing of the imperative to make a wider embrace of digital concepts.
Okay, virtual beauty. You don't need to go on the stage physically anymore. Everything is online. Indeed, that is a new normal. And this breaks all the borders, because if you have to do it physically, a lot of encumbrances. But if you have to do it virtually, almost anybody who has, anybody can contest. That's a very good one, Divan.
As usual. Patience, you're talking about messages.
Yes, we have one or two here. He said, good morning, I'm Sam Jeffrey from Kaduna. There is no excuse for rape whatsoever. It is wrong and condemnable. Stiff penalty should be the punishment for it. No to rape. Again, I say no to rape. Thank you, Sam Jeffrey. You're right. Then again, another message here says, I really stand against rape anywhere in the world, and except our government use one as a warning, I bet you will only be reading about it on papers in the media. May God help us. This is Potter from Kaduna.
Another one?
Another one here says that there's tears in my heart, and it hurting me, and I cannot even speak, and the lips cannot even say how much it hurts when one is raped. This is from John Mark. A lot of people are hurting, and we just encourage you to speak out. Keep speaking out. For everybody speaking out, I say, God bless you.
We're getting closer to getting a great
no more
solution.
Silence, no more stigmatization.
And in fact, there's
you need
talk
to speak
about
out,
women
speak
not
out.
talking out more.
Yeah.
You know, we're told this morning about the papers saying that there's a conspiracy of silence by women. Some women protect their in-laws. Some women protect their brothers. Some women protect, yes. You know, what are you protecting? According to Michelle, in the Walk Against Rape, she said, when you rape a girl, you have killed her. Some people go on to commit suicide.
Yes.
Some become drug addicts. Some cannot hold a job. Yes. But the most important thing is that next week, this pandemic will be our focus on weekend
rape. Yes.
It's time to say goodbye.
Yes, indeed. It's time to say goodbye. Until we come your way next week, please stay safe. Say no to rape. And speak out. God bless.